So today we're going to be making a Spanish style gin and tonic. Gin and tonics obviously are a pretty common cocktail. They're really popular, light, refreshing. You can get them just about anywhere. But in Spain, they really made them uniquely their own. Couple things that set gin and tonic in Spain apart from everything else. They usually have a little bit more tonic than they do gin, but they're still like a standard 2 ounces of gin, nice and strong. They serve it in a bigger glass with tons of ice, tons of fun garnishes, and they'll usually add some like fun aromatics or botanicals to it to just kind of jazz it up a little bit. All right, so for this drink, as the name suggests, we're going to be using BCN gin. It's a gin from Barcelona, and if you've traveled to Barcelona, you may recognize this emblem on the top of the bottle here. It's supposed to symbolize the sidewalks in Barcelona. This is a nice gin that we chose for this drink, specifically because it's from Spain, but one of the unique things about it is it's made from the distillate of grapes from the Priorat region. So if you're a big fan of wine and you've had wine here before, we have a pretty good selection of wine from the Priorat region. And this is a gin that's actually made with those grapes, whereas normally gin is made with like a neutral grain. It has this kind of like fruity, grapey aroma, lots of citrus, but still kind of that quintessential like ginness that you would think of when you think gin, but it's not super juniper forward. So if one of the things you don't like about gin is how junipery it is, this is definitely something that you might want to try either in a drink like this or just on its own. It's really enjoyable just on the rocks. So we're going to start off with 2 ounces of the BCN gin. All right, so the next ingredient that we're going to use here is Alma de Trabanco. It is a quinquina and rama, and for those of you who aren't familiar with quinquina, it is a type of aperitivo, kind of similar to a vermouth, but really uniquely its own. Coming from the name here, quinquina, it does have the flavoring of quinine in it, which is what gives tonic that really unique kind of bitter flavor. If you are a gin and tonic drinker and you haven't done a gin and tonic with a little splash of quinquina in it before, I definitely recommend it. This one is unique in that it's made with an unfiltered cider, and it is from Spain. Super tasty. It has almost this like kind of fruity, like apple-y thing going on, but you still get all of those like aromatics, almost like another type of vermouth. If you can't find this one, which is kind of a specialty ingredient, Beer is a really common brand. It's a little bit more readily available, and I've seen it at quite a few wine and spirit shops here in Madison. It has that same kind of quinine-y bitter flavor without so much of the appleiness of the Alma de Trabanco. And for this drink, we are going to go with the Spanish one, and we're going to do just a half an ounce of this in here. All right, so next up we're going to do Yzaguirre vermouth. This is a red sweet vermouth, and for those of you who do not like vermouth, I encourage you to, if you have some collecting dust on your shelves, go out, get a fresh bottle. It's really, really important to either A, move through your vermouth pretty quickly, or B, to make sure that you're keeping it sealed with a vac sealer in the fridge, not on the shelf. This is a fortified wine product, so just like you wouldn't leave a bottle of Cabernet sitting out on the shelf as it would oxidize, you don't want to do that with vermouth either. That leads to some really kind of funky, gross vermouth. This is just one of our favorite Spanish vermouths here that we carry at Estrellón, and in the Barcelona Gin and Tonic, we're going to use just a half an ounce of this as well. All right, and lastly, we have the tonic. So for a true Spanish gin and tonic, they usually use some sort of like specialty tonic. I know Fever Tree is really popular in Spain. Here we've chosen Jack and Rudy tonic, which is a craft tonic, and it comes in syrup form. So we pour it in as a syrup, mix it fresh with soda water so we can always ensure that it's nice and bubbly, never flat. For this drink, we're using 3/4 of an ounce of the Jack and Rudy tonic syrup. Pop that right in. So if we don't have a big glass and lots of ice, it's not really a Spanish gin and tonic. So we're gonna go ahead and add a ton of ice, and all the way iced up to the top. And that's before topping it off with some soda water here. Get that going, get our tonic water diluted a little bit, and we're just gonna give it a nice stir to agitate this, make sure all of these ingredients are equally incorporated. All right, so now my favorite part is the garnishing process. So we've chosen garnishes that specifically highlight the flavor profile of this particular G&T. So we're gonna do a squeeze of lime here, and then a nice round grapefruit, do a nice peel of that, and make sure that we express all of those beautiful oils over the top, rub it around the rim of the glass. Same thing with the orange here. And I'm gonna finish that with some juniper berries over the top. If you have favorite gin and tonic garnishes that you like, feel free to leave us a comment here. But otherwise, this is how we're gonna be serving our Barcelona gin and tonic.